Stephen Merchant, one of my faves. Thanks for coming back to the show,
Love to
buddy.
be on there. I love you, brother. I love being on the show.
It is Nana Week here at the show, and I was talking to you backstage, and I was saying, do you have any fond memory of your grandma?
My grandmother, a lovely woman, a dear, sweet woman, Irene, but not an optimistic lady. You know how there's people who are kind of glass half full?
Yes.
And there's some who are glass half empty. Irene, there's nothing in the glass. The glass has been knocked off the table, smashed, and thrown in the trash.
Oh, interesting.
Like, just so... Like, I remember when I was, like, 13, she said to me, what would you like for Christmas? What gift would you like? I said, I would love an overcoat like Grandad. My Grandad had this lovely overcoat with this big kind of sort of sheepskin collar. I thought, can I get one like that? And she said, well, you can have his. And I said, well, doesn't Grandad need it? And she said, he'll probably be dead soon. Honestly, she said, you know, his heart's not what it was. He lived for 20 years. After that, I was freezing.
Does it feel good to be in front of an audience?
It's so lovely to be back in front of real people.
It is
First
great,
time
right?
for 2 years. It's great. It's great to be in front of an audience. It's great to be back in the audience, you know, going to shows again, going to theatre shows.
I know you're a big music fan.
Love going to live music. The last time I went to a concert was before COVID, was The Boss, was Bruce Springsteen. I saw him on Broadway. I saw him in LA, 2 shows in LA.
You're a big Springsteen fan.
Love The Boss. Absolutely adore the man. The only problem was I went to see Bruce at the Forum in LA, and I very nearly broke his neck.
All right, explain this to me now. Okay.
Yeah. So I love The Boss, and I went down there and I went to show 1. And during the show, during Hungry Heart, he falls out into the crowd, and the crowd kind of carry him on their hands back to the stage, crowd surfing, right? And so I'm loving it. I'm watching this. I was videoing it. I did the whole thing. I just loved it.
He's a god.
And I thought, I'm going to go back night 2, because I want a piece of that action. I want to be one of those people that gets to touch the great man, right?
Yeah.
So I go back, I get a second ticket, I know where he's going to be, you know, at what time, I know what he's going to do. I'm thinking, I'm going to touch this 70-year-old man. You know, I'm like a stalker in a retirement village. Like, I'm just waiting for him to come out, right?
Oh,
And so
awesome.
I get into position and I'm waiting for him, and he comes out and he falls into the crowd. Everybody had a hungry heart, and he's coming towards me, and I'm bracing myself for him. And the boss, and he gets there, and I brace myself, and I receive the boss, but I forget that I'm 6'7". So he starts going upwards, right? And I'm holding him, and the person behind me is like regular height, and they can't reach him.
No.
And so now there's a moment in time where I'm taking the full weight of Bruce Springsteen. I'm holding the boss. And you know what? Like, he's a small man, but he's a lot heavier than you'd think.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys.
Like, have you ever tried to move like a sofa bed? You know, like they're heavier than they look.
Yes,
you
he's
know?
a sturdy man.
He's dense with talent.
He's dense with talent.
And I'm holding him like this. And I have a vision of my grandmother saying, you should never hold rock stars. You haven't got the upper body strength for that.
Bruce Springsteen, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to, like, bend at the knees and, like, finally hand him off to the other person. And he was singing the whole time. He didn't know it.
Saved his life.
Saved his life.
Yeah. Well, Bruce, if you're watching, that was Stephen who saved your life at the Forum. Night number 2 at the Forum.
Night number 2.
I want to talk about The Outlaws. Congratulations on this.
Thank you.
You write this. It's a comedy drama series, which I think you're great at, too, because I think you're also a very good dramatic actor. But how did you come up with this idea?
My parents used to work, when I was growing up, for community service. You know, if you get, like, a DUI or some other crime, they don't send you to prison necessarily. They make you pick up garbage or renovate a building as a punishment.
Yep.
And my parents were involved with that when I was growing up. And I always thought that was an interesting area for a comedy or a drama, because you'd have very unlikely people sort of coming through. Like, my mother, there was a kid who I went to school with, Dave, who was always coming through, and he was the world's laziest thief. And one time, Dave got caught in a house stealing the TV, and the homeowners came in. They're like, Dave, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm not Dave. And they're like, yeah, you are. You live next door. He couldn't even go a block over. He was stealing from his own neighbours.
No.
So there was people like that come through, and I just thought, what an interesting idea. Like, who are these people? Why are they doing community service? And let's make that into a show.
And they have to come together. And you have a great cast. And one of my favorites, Christopher Walken, is in this show. And gosh, he is a treasure, man.
He's amazing. He's a brilliant guy, amazing in the show. Fantastic. An honour to have him.
He's one of the greatest. And you got to film in your hometown.
I filmed in my hometown in the UK, and we said to him, is there anything you want to do in England? He said, I'd love to go to Stonehenge.
Yeah.
So we went, I took Christopher Walken to Stonehenge.
This is real. Like, this is honestly,
a real thing.
Talk about goals.
Right.
Here's you and Christopher Walken at Stonehenge. That's
Look at
amazing.
That. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, I love that. Did he enjoy it? Did he?
And again, he didn't say much. And then at one point, like, we'd been there for an hour, and he just said, apparently, the bluestones have healing properties. Okay, wow. Is that how he would sound? How would he say that?
Yeah. Apparently, the blue stones have healing properties.
Exactly. So he said, may I touch the stone to the guide? And it's such a British thing. She said, no.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's like, I'm like, really? You can't let Christopher Walken touch one of the stones? They've been here 5,000 years.
He's a legend, yeah.
Come on, what do you do? Take them in at night? Of course people touch the stones.
Yeah, of course they
They're
do.
not like lawn furniture. You don't cover them up. But she wouldn't
let him do it, yeah. I just think that's a bucket list thing that probably you never thought would be
oh, my goodness,
in your bucket, yeah.
Oh.
You're like, wow, I'm at Stonehenge with Christopher Walken. Life is good.
It's really, that was a surreal moment. But
I want to show everyone a clip. Here's Stephen Merchant in The Outlaws. Take a look at this.
Greg, what's your secret?
I'm a lawyer.
Keep that quiet. Shameful.
A lawyer who's badly organised, can't remember case precedents. I use Wikipedia to conduct most of my legal research. I've missed court deadlines. I've forged signatures.
We've all done that.
In my office, I have this cupboard. I call it the cupboard of chaos. I've stuffed every letter, witness statement, affidavit that's proof of my incompetence in there, and I can't destroy them, I can't file them, so I live in constant fear that someone will open the cupboard and I'll never work in law again. Even though I'm probably going to get fired anyway, unless I bring in some new clients. So, actually, does anyone need a lawyer? I've got some business cards here.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Hey, are you any good?
What do you think? Yeah. Stephen Merchant, everybody. Season 1 of The Outlaws is available this Friday on Prime Video.
Hey, hey.